is Dr. Adarsh Patel. He is the founder and CEO of OUI Medical. So he is an inventor of this device that he's going to talk about today. And he's a consultant for laparoscopic and bariatric surgery. He has 17 years experience as a surgeon and brings extensive domain knowledge as a Docupreneur. I can't ever pronounce that, but I love that term. So with that, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for InnovatorMD for providing this opportunity. And I am introducing OUI Medical, our motto, transform endoscopy. Endoscopes are used to peek inside our body cavities, and Dr. Anton, a German physician, invented them in 1853. And within this century, they have transformed medical science. Approximately 250 million procedures are being performed every year across the globe. And then there are 10 major types of scopes, like a colonoscope for a colon and a cystoscope for a bladder. We are on a mission to develop a scope for abdominal cavity. We have a vision to make endoscopy accessible and safe. The problem being, presently, surgery is required to peek inside the abdomen in the form of a diagnostic laparoscopy or a diagnostic laparotomy, which means we have to admit the patient, shift him to the operation theater, give him an anesthesia, and perform a surgery, which is painful, inconvenient, and may cost up to $50,000 for the patients. So we have come up with world's first scope to peek inside the abdomen under local anesthesia. It's portable, single use, and it's cost effective. So we give local anesthesia on the abdominal wall, a tap block. We make a small nick. This is the device. It has an optical port, a camera and a light source, a screen, and it's battery operated. It's completely disposable. We introduce the scope under vision. That is, we go layer by layer inside safely. Once we are inside, we put some atmospheric air and make some space, and we introduce the scope, and we can go inside and have a look inside the peritoneal cavity. So it's an ambulatory procedure, which means patient can walk in, get this procedure done, and walk out on the same day. It is performed under local anesthesia, so it's painless, convenient, and may cost only $3,000. We have disruptive technology. The present scope, a laparoscope, is built for operating room. They are bulky. They are difficult to move around the hospitals. They require sterilization, which means high turnaround time and possibility of cross-infections. And they have high upfront investment of $60,000, and they require an annual maintenance. Whereas our scope is built to be used outside the OR. It's portable, so it can be stored either in the emergency room or in the ICU. Since it's disposable, it eliminates any possibility of cross-infection, and it costs only $1,000. One of the prime example for its application is patients in ICU who are really sick, who cannot be transferred to radiology or the operating room because it's unsafe to transport them, or in these cases, the radiology is inconclusive. So in these patients, we can perform a scopy in the ICU, in the bedside. We can go inside and have a look and come to a definitive diagnosis. So there is sufficient evidence available for this. And there is a review article, Bedside Laparoscopy as a Diagnostic Tool. And it was performed by Dr. Daniel in a Department of General Surgery in a university hospital in Italy. And they bought in the laparoscope and did scopies in the ICU, and they reviewed the data, and they found that most of the conditions were like acalculous cholecystitis, peritonitis, intestinal ischemia, colonic ischemia, mesenteric ischemia, ruptured spleen, sigmoid diverticulitis, abdominal abscess, perforated cecum, and bleeding. So these were the most common findings they found, and they concluded that it has definite role in diagnosis of trauma, sepsis, labs not being conclusive, and it also helps in early diagnosis and surgical planning, and avoids a non-conclusive laparotomy. It has other compelling applications Again, again backed by data, for example, in cancer care, to identify peritoneal secondaries, which cannot be identified by any existing diagnostic modalities. So, and staging of abdominal cancers, women's health, identifying ectopic pregnancies, endometriosis, emergency care, military field hospitals, and trauma. It has some exciting applications in perioperative care and some future applications, for example, local chemotherapy or a radiotherapy for intra-abdominal malignancies. The opportunity being for a single organ like colon, approximately 60 million colonoscopies are performed every year. Abdomen has 10 major organs. We have multiple compelling applications. We intend to generate 1 million procedures, sell each device at $1,000, and generate $1 billion revenue in the next 5 years. The market size being the total market size for endoscopes globally is approximately $40 billion. Market size for single specialty scope like a colonoscope is approximately $4 billion, and a market size for single specialty scopes in US is $500 million, and this market is growing at 8%. Looking at the competitive landscape, it's a novel application, and there is no similar scope available, and we have a patent for this device. We have applied for a PCT application. We have received a very good PCT report, as well as we have also received the first examination report, which is positive, and we have a proprietary technology. We believe in lean methodologies, and we have partnered with OmniVision. OmniVision supplies us with medical grade, FDA approved disposable cameras, and we have partnered with OJOS, they are manufacturers, contract manufacturers for endoscopes, and they have in-house team who are very experts in developing new endoscopes, and we have partnered with them for product development and contract manufacturing. We are graduates of Health Wildcatters, a leading medtech accelerator. We are graduates of 2022 cohort. We are raising funds. As of now, we have completed the device development. We have completed cadaveric study. We have taken an IRB clearance and performed some very early cases. And we intend to use these funds to get through our regulatory approvals. And we intend to apply to FDA through their breakthrough device pathway and get a 510(k) clearance and get to market by Q3. We intend to simultaneously apply for regulatory clearance in EU and Asia as well. We have a go-to-market and exit strategy. There are approximately 20 large OEMs in market, mostly mid-cap and some are large cap. For example, Olympus, Ambu, Strauss, Boston Scientific, etc. We are a good strategic fit for them, and we intend to leverage their global marketing and distribution. And also we intend to launch new products leveraging our disruptive technology. I am Dr. Adarsh M Patil. I am founder and CEO of this company. I am a surgeon. I am a minimal access surgeon, and I have 15 years experience with scopes. I'm a medical entrepreneur and inventor, and I am happy to tell that I have not left my day job, and I still continue. And it was great to hear in this conference as well. And my co-founder Rishikesh is an electronics engineer. He has 30 years of medtech experience with product development, and he has experience with regulatory landscape. We intend to bring in paradigm shift in endoscopy. We look forward for your support. Thank you.
You mentioned that you have accomplished a study in your kind of phase 1 complete. What were the results of that study?
I mentioned a study which we as an evidence. It was not performed by us, but it's a review article wherein they bought the laparoscopes in the ICU and performed the scopies in very sick ICU patients, and there is sufficient evidence available that this really is helpful, and it should be done more often. And also there are studies particularly for peritoneoscopies, large studies which have been done using the existing laparoscopes, and they have all shown the benefits of doing a scopy under local anesthesia. However, till now, nobody has developed a specific device for doing this, because the technology was not that evolved, and the development of disposable cameras, which is a recent development in science, has enabled us to come up with this scope actually.
I have a
Thank
question.
you.
Is the need a disposable camera, or is the need just people doing it in the ICUs rather, right? Like what is what has been the challenge till now? Like, why is disposable camera that relevant? Or why is the miniaturization of the technology that relevant to this, to solving this problem?
One is there was a laparoscope. However, I don't know. I mean, the invention has been really condensing and making the entire laparoscope small. For example, our device has an balloon to insufflate atmospheric air. If you see, the laparoscope has a huge, large to contain the gas, and it is 7 feet tall. So it really we have miniaturized it, and the key change has been just intuitive putting atmospheric air to develop a pneumoperitoneum and using balloon. So that makes it quite simple, and also using the optical ports, and also making the entire device disposable and cost effective. So these have been the inventions in this invention actually.
I'm not sure if it answered my question, but let me ask another one. You also compared your scope to sort of solving colonoscopies, or at least that was one of the big markets. How does that market get solved by this? Like, isn't that like it goes into a body cavity? How does it get into the colon and look around?
No, I didn't get your question, but I never said that we get into the colon. We go into the peritoneal cavity.
Okay, so that market assessment slide was just there broad, because you mentioned colonoscopies.
Okay, I got that. So broadly, in an endoscopy market, there are around 10 major types of scopes. For example, a colonoscope or a cystoscope. So broadly, a total market size of endoscopes is $40 billion, and each major scopes forms a market size for each is around $4 billion. So that's the breakup actually. So I'm trying to tell you that for a single specialty scope, the market size is around $4 billion is what I'm trying to implicate by that knowledge.
Thanks for clarifying that.
We've got about 45 seconds left. So Martinez, you have a question?
Yes. How are you prioritizing which specialties or diagnoses to focus on first? And I'm particularly intrigued by possibility to diagnose endometriosis.
Well, yeah. So first, the applications in ICU are very clear, and there is enough evidence. Yes, the endometriosis diagnosis, there is sufficient studies available, and endometriosis diagnosis, keeping the patient awake. So what's called as pain mapping, again has one benefit of doing a pain mapping for endometriosis by patient when the patient is awake, has some advantages, and we are looking forward for that application actually.
Great. Thank you so much. There are a few questions.